everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make an epic cheesy vegan breakfast pizza piled high with tofu scramble, tempeh bacon, and a handful of spinach just for that little extra #health. Okay. This video is a collaboration with a crap ton of other awesome vegan YouTubers. We're all coming together to give you guys some awesome brinner or breakfast for dinner recipes for you guys to feast your eyes and possibly your mouths on. So in addition to this breakfast pizza, we have some breakfast themed lasagna, nachos, tacos, bread pudding, sandwiches, granola, potato waffles, chicken waffles, and bao. So truly, whether you just enjoy savory food for breakfast or you like to switch your meals up and eat your breakfast for dinner, there's probably going to be something for you. So be sure to check out the recipe playlist that I will have linked in this video and in the description after you finish watching this one, so you can like, comment, drool over, etc. all of the other awesome videos in this collaboration. Alright, so without further ado, let's get straight into the recipe. Okay, so for step one, we're going to be making our whole wheat pizza dough. So first thing, we're going to take a medium-sized bowl and add a teaspoon of yeast with half of a cup of warm water, as well as some coconut sugar. Then you're just going to gently stir this to make sure it's all combined, and you're going to let the yeast bloom for about 5 to 7 minutes until it's nice and fluffy. Then in a separate bowl, you're going to combine part of your flour with some salt, mix that together, and then set that aside. Then to our yeast bowl, we're going to be adding half of a cup of regular flour. We're going to stir this in until it's nice and incorporated and kind of soupy like a pancake batter. Then at this point, we're just going to add the remainder of our flour in and stir it into the mixture until it is well incorporated and becomes a dough. And at one point, you're going to have to transfer it to a surface and try to knead in the remainder of the dough with your hands. And I'm gonna be honest, guys, kneading dough kind of stinks and I always break a sweat when I do it, but honestly, the longer you knead your dough, the better it's going to turn out. So after the dough has absorbed most of the flour, I would say knead it for an additional 5 to 7 minutes if you really want good pizza dough. Then once you're done, you can form it into a little ball, rinse out that bowl, and then just place the ball back into the bowl and coat it with a little bit of water, cover it with a towel, and set it aside for 45 minutes to an hour. But we're going to be making good use of this time and marinate our tempeh bacon next. So for this recipe, you're going to need half of a block of tempeh, and you're just going to cut it into thin slices, as you can see that I did here. Then in a smaller bowl, we're going to be adding some soy sauce, some smoked paprika, coconut sugar, liquid smoke, apple cider vinegar, and black pepper according to taste. I like a lot of black pepper, but you can do however much you want. Then you're just going to mix this together to make sure everything is evenly incorporated. Then we're just going to transfer our tempeh into a resealable bag and pour the marinade on top. And you're going to seal the bag, make sure there's not any air in it, and sort of toss the tempeh around in it to make sure it gets nice and coated. And we're just going to let this sit while our dough is rising as well. Then we're going to be making our cheese sauce. So first things first, you're going to fill a medium pot with some water and add your diced potatoes and your diced carrots to it. Then we're going to bring this to a boil and let the potatoes and carrots cook for about 8 minutes until they are fork tender. Then you're just going to rinse and drain those and put them into a food processor with the nutritional yeast, garlic powder, salt, apple cider vinegar, tahini, and some plant-based milk. Then you're just going to put the lid on, blend this up for about a minute or so, and when it's finished, it should be really thick, nice and creamy, as you can see here. And this is going to be the cheese sauce for our pizza. Then next, we're going to be making our tofu scramble. So for this, you're going to need half of a block of tofu. I cut it up with a knife to make it a little bit easier to start, but then I just crumbled this into bite-sized pieces with my hands. I find that it's easiest to just use your hands for this step if you really want the tofu to be crumbled well. Then we're going to add in some nutritional yeast, onion powder, turmeric. This is going to make it yellow and give you more of that egg color. and then finally a pinch of salt. Then you're going to mix this with a fork. You can choose to use your hands as well, but they will be stained yellow because of the turmeric. And then because we're going to be baking the pizza in the oven, we don't need to cook this right now, so we're just going to let it sit and marinate, if you will, until we assemble our pizza, which is what we're going to do now. So once your dough has risen, you can just punch it down a little bit and then transfer it to a floured surface. And if you have a rolling pin, that would be great. But I only have a bottle of apple cider vinegar, so I'm using that to roll my pizza dough out. And after you've rolled your dough out, you can transfer it to a warmed pizza stone if you want, or I just put it on a baking tray lined with a silicone mat. You could also use parchment paper. And I decided to make like a ridge on the outside of the dough because I thought that would help, but I don't really know if it was necessary, but you can if you want. And so then we're just going to spread out our thick and luscious cheesy pizza sauce first. Then we're going to top that off with some spinach, because remember guys, #health. Then we're going to layer on our tempeh bacon, and you're just going to take this out of the marinade. You don't want to pour the marinade actually on the pizza. You can just discard the leftovers or use it for something else. Then after that, we're going to sprinkle on our tofu scramble, and I decided to add some extra layers on top of this just to make it more aesthetically pleasing for that final shot. But once it's done and your pizza is assembled, you're going to bake it in the oven, and this is what it should look like as it comes out. As you can see, our tofu scramble and tempeh bacon got nice and baked and crispy, and everything comes together in a cohesive, decadent breakfast pizza. Okay, and that's how you make the pizza, but now it is time for the taste test. So I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I made this yesterday, but I hadn't showered in 3 days and my hair looked really gross, and I ate the rest of the pizza for dinner last night, but I saved a piece for the taste test today. So I've already eaten it before, but you know, we're just gonna roll with it. Even better on the second day. Honestly guys, I'm like really proud of the recipe. The crust came out nice and crispy on the bottom, but I don't know if you can see, but it's really thick and fluffy as well. And personally, I'm a fan of my cheese sauce. The tempeh bacon is banging, so is the tofu scramble. And you know, the spinach is just there, but it makes me feel better about myself because it's green. Also, I just want to note that I'm a foodie and I like to make things difficult for myself, so I made everything in this recipe from scratch. But you know, if cooking's not really your thing, but you still want to make a delicious vegan breakfast pizza, feel free to substitute some of the things that I made for store-bought items. For example, you can buy your own pizza crust. There are tons of different varieties of vegan bacon out there on the market, or you can make coconut bacon. You could even use like the follow your heart vegan egg instead of the tofu for the scramble, but personally, I think you should still make the cheese sauce because I'm pretty proud of my cheese sauce and I think it's amazing. Oh right, we have to finish. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this recipe, and be sure to check out all of the other recipes in this Brinner collaboration that will be linked in the playlist below. And if you're new to my channel, this is your first time watching one of my videos, be sure to subscribe by clicking that little button down there if you want to see more epic food videos from me. Alright, I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, whatever time of day it is for you, and I will talk to you later. Bye! Should I just make my new outro as me eating the food while the camera's on? Let me know in the comments below.